How would you confront this hatred in order to create peace?
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 3. This is a series where I take your hot takes on Naruto, of your opinions that don't get enough attention or people don't care about. There's a lot of opinions on Naruto that, you know, they get like thrown into the background and no one gives them the right attention, and I'm here to give you my answers to your opinions that no one really gives the time for. So this is what the series is about. So this is number 3 and we're going to get started. I think Madara should have been a character that remains dead. Don't you think it was weird of how the concept of Naruto is that the new generation surpasses the old? Yet Madara was an exception. But Madara, for some sort of reason, ruined the Naruto series. He just fell off and wasn't a character that fit in the present Naruto generation. So Madara being as overpowered as he was okay. There are some good reasons why. For one, Madara and Hashirama live in a time period where there was just constantly war and battle every single day, and they trained their bodies to be a taijutsu master. Well, once you live in a concept of war your whole life, from your childhood to your adulthood, it will advance you to the next level. You see, if Naruto and Sasuke were thrown into war every single day of their lives, they would be pretty much overpowered with the exact same aspects of being a master of taijutsu, your skills of ninja training, you're being on your guard the entire time. Like, things like that would have helped them. Even Jiraiya told Nagato that during, like, ancient times, like, years ago, that war back then was worse compared to how it is in the Hidden Rain Village. And looking at Hashirama and Madara's life, they lived their whole life in war. They didn't have a choice. Now then, to be fair, when Madara first awakened the Perfect Susanoo, it was a filler battle with Hashirama. He first originally awakened it, coming back to the war with the Rinnegan, and then using it against the 5 Kage. There were some things that Kishimoto didn't explain, like how Hashirama mastered wood style, how did he even get it in his body, how did Madara first awaken the Perfect Susanoo and just automatically knew what it was, because there was no training arc with Madara. But even if Kishimoto gave us those training arcs, it doesn't excuse the fact that Madara kept getting overpowered, even worse. Like, he was fighting without eyes, which was never explained. Personally, I feel like after that power was unlocked, it just stays in your body, but Kishimoto just kept on making Madara stronger than he should have been, and that's fine. Like, Madara was supposed to be the final boss, but you could say Kishimoto took it too seriously, like grabbing Hashirama by the neck and automatically mastering stage mode like that, even though Naruto had to take like 3 or 4 days mastering that shit, and it's kind of like a slap in the face. But yeah, Madara, truth is, Madara's power is too strong for the Naruto universe, and I can understand the complaints about him, because I like Madara a lot, not just because he's a great badass, but Kishimoto gave him good story with his backstory, trying to understand humankind, that peace is only going to be short-lived, human beings are always going to go back to conflict, and he wanted to put into it, and I'm glad he gave him more depth as a character. But I can understand why people don't like Madara. He is too much of a powerhouse, and it did affect the series in some aspects, but at the exact same time, it's really hard not to root for Madara. You know, it's just, he's a badass, sure, but he's just so fun. Even though Pain is a better character than him, but Madara's still a fun character, but that's my opinion. Moving on. To expand more on the clans outside the Senju and the Uchiha, the Albarami clan and the Uzumaki clan, and other clans, the Nara clan, the Hyuga clan, and I agree. Kishimoto had set up a really good world building with other characters from other clans, and he just didn't execute it. Personally, I feel like Shonen Jump knew that the Uchiha would sell more money, and he was told to focus on them. But is there proof of that? No. It's just like any business out there, like Shonen Jump, they care about what makes a series sell. And if Uchiha was going to sell more money, I can understand why he could possibly be pushed to focus on the Uchiha more. I'm not saying this is true, but it clearly that back in part 1, there were other clans set up to be strong, to have great potential, and then he didn't do anything with them in Shippuden. The Hyuga clan never got their screen time. The Albarami clan, the Nara clan, etc. Like, he should have expanded other arcs explaining their existence, of the history. Apparently, in the original series, Kishimoto originally wanted to not do the Chunin exams arc, and I've heard this before, that he wanted to introduce everyone on a arc, like on a mission arc, like the Land of Waves arc, introducing them one by one. But he was told to do the tuning exams to introduce everybody all at once, which worked, I guess, because a lot of people like the tuning exams. But at the exact same time, personally, I like the concept of introducing the characters slowly and developing them. But we got the tuning exams instead, and I guess it's a shame because I feel like Kishimoto had a lot of great ideas for Naruto, but the editors just kept going on his ass about stuff, and it sucks because I feel like business is what really killed Naruto at the end of the day. But, you know, it's whatever, but I agree. Other clans should have been explained more of their history, their worldview, how they got in a relationship with Hashirama, building their villages with the Hidden Leaf Village and the other clans. But it's just, it wasn't there. Naruto's known for great history world building, but a lot of it was just, it just was non-existent. Another reason why we need a reboot, but, you know, instead we got Boruto. But I feel like there was so much more of Naruto's world that had potential, but it was just not given us. But that's my take on it. I agree. I think the villains should be still humans with a personality, philosophy, no aliens that think they're superior. I agree. Like, I've said many times that the Okatsuki is a cool concept, but they're just not placed in the right universe. Like, I get it. They're trying to clean up Naruto's war arc mess up. But the problem that people don't see is that we wouldn't have to fix anything if that problem in the war arc didn't even exist. You know? You know, people feel like Kishimoto created all the Okatsuki. No, he only created Kaguya. The others came years after Kishimoto was retired from Naruto, trying to work in Samurai 8. The others came after Kaguya. I mean, that's from my knowledge that he only created Kaguya and the rest were Kodachi or whatever. But yes, human stories and human characters are more important than what we have. Naruto is so caught up with how the whole landscape of power nowadays is that it's just relying on power scaling to be good. You know, no one talks about Zabuza or Pain. We only talk about Obito and Madara and the Okatsuki. Zabuza and Pain never get the love or attention anymore, and it sucks. Even Orochimaru, no one talks about the other three villains in Naruto. It's like they didn't exist, and it sucks. But that's just how it is. I guess we're just in a time period where people forget what made Naruto. Working hard for your shit and getting acknowledgement. Now people are just getting powers. People are just, you know, non-stop getting overpowered. And I get it. It started in the war arc before Boruto, but this is the problem, that Boruto is continuing the problems that people had with Shippuden. I mean, that's just my take on it. Human stories and character writing is so more important than just the power in the landscape. Like, don't get me wrong. I like some of the stuff that happened in the war arc. I like the Telebeast bombs. I like the overpowered Perfect Susanoo. I like it. It's enjoyable. But just because I like it, just because I enjoy it, does that mean good quality writing? No, because that is debatable. Just because you're enjoying it, it doesn't mean what the creator's doing makes any sense. Like, it's cool to see Kakashi have a perfect Susanoo, but did it make sense? Was it good writing? Hell no. Hell fucking no. No. But I agree with you. Sasuke is one of the best written characters in Naruto, and he gets too much hate. Okay, Heavy Sasuke is awesome. Taka Sasuke, I like him with moments because I feel like Kishimoto did take his writing too far. Like, Taka Sasuke is the more popular Sasuke because of the Susanoo, the Black Flames, the Perfect Susanoo that he got with the 6 paths. Like, Taka Sasuke is more popular than Heavy Sasuke. And I did a video about Heavy Sasuke. Go watch it if you want, but I was sick in that video, so you're going to have a hard time hearing me talk in that video. But I did make a video explaining that Heavy Sasuke was the true Sasuke, following the Sasuke from Final Valley. And after that, things just got more complex. He wanted to kill everybody in the Leaf, even though that they were innocent people there who knew nothing about the situation. And Sasuke just took it to heart, and he was willing to kill everybody. Team 7, Naruto, everyone in the Hidden Leaf Village. I think Kishimoto took him too far in some aspects, but I understand why he's considered one of the best written characters. I personally may not agree with everything Kishimoto did with Sasuke, but I understand the genius of what he was trying to go for. So yeah, Sasuke is one of the best characters in there. I personally just enjoy Part 1 Sasuke and Heavy Sasuke. Taka Sasuke, not so much, but like I said, Taka Sasuke is the more popular Sasuke and people like that Sasuke more. But I'm just saying, from my opinion, I feel like he just overdid it just a bit with Sasuke's character. I mean, yes, he's one of the best, but I can understand why people have so many issues with him. because I feel like fair criticism is always fair when it comes to Sasuke, but that's my take on it. Next one, Might Guy is superior to Kakashi besides DMS and when they were kids. Yes, like, by a fact, Might Guy is physically stronger than Kakashi with the gates. The problem is that Kakashi is more of a strategist ninja, he's more smart, but at the exact same time, Guy has fought so many battles with Kakashi and training with him, he pretty much knows everything about Kakashi, where Kakashi can't just, you know, get one over with Guy. Like, he's fought with Kakashi since childhood, teenagerhood, adulthood, to the point where Guy knows all of his tricks. So it's going to be more difficult for Kakashi to challenge him or try to beat him. Because, for one, Guy is underrated when he fights. He's just like Naruto. He's a genius when he fights. But when it comes to common sense, he's a little bit meh. But, yeah, Guy has always been the superior fighter. And even Kakashi admitted it during the flashback of his father telling him that, don't slack off in the academy, boy. Guy, he's going to be the one who's going to be stronger than you. Just because you're in the academy doesn't mean you should slack off. And then he told him, while after that flashback was over, he told the audiences that, Dad, you were right. Guy's, like, up there. So yes, even Kakashi admitted that he's inferior to Guy. I did not like Orochimaru's return. It didn't make any sense. I also let you know how Sasuke vs. Kabuto could have been handled. And no reanimation jutsu because it would make death look meaningless. And also, who is Shino? Yeah, Shino is very underrated. Like I said, all the characters and clans, they deserve so much more. Shino was one of the most badass characters because he won every fight, even in the filler fights. I think he was also considered like a really good strategist when he fights. Go back and rewatch Conqueror vs. Shino because it's in there. I do not like Kabuto versus Sasuke and Itachi. Like, that fight, like, if you're talking about that fight, Sasuke versus Kabuto in the war with Itachi, I do not like that fight at all. I don't like how it was handled. I don't like Sage Mode Kabuto, Dragon Kabuto. I feel like that was just really random and just out of place because I get it. He wanted to bring Kabuto to a threat because he's always been in the background, but some villains are written just to be small villains. When you make them into the main villain, I don't know, like Obito starts the war, but most of the time in the first half of the war, he just sits on his ass because of Kabuto. And I never understood why Obito didn't put Kabuto under Genjutsu when he realized that he had Madara. Because Kabuto couldn't shut his eyesight off until he was in the Dragon Stage fighting Hitachi. I don't know. I just never understood that, but I don't like how Kabuto was handled. But also, when it comes to Orochimaru's return, it made no sense, I get it. In Shippuden, he didn't know what to do with Orochimaru because he had the Akatsuki. Like, I don't want Orochimaru to be the main villain the entire series. Like, that would be boring. I'm glad we got Pain. I'm glad we got Obito. I'm glad we got Madara. I'm glad we got other villains besides Orochimaru. But he didn't do anything with Orochimaru after the 10-age bridge arc. Because after that bridge arc was done, Sasuke, like, people may not agree with him being defeated by Sasuke, but it was great for Sasuke's character growth because he knew he needed Orochimaru's power to survive with Hitachi, to give him a better advantage, and he planned that shit. So that made Sasuke become more of a strategist and a better character because he took advantage of Orochimaru's situation. But after that, he made a small cameo in the Itachi fight, and then that was it. He didn't really do much with Orochimaru, and he brought him back as a good guy, which I like Kama Orochimaru. I thought he was cool, but that wasn't the real Orochimaru. I feel like Orochimaru came back for a plot device just to bring back the Edo Tensei. But, you know, it's whatever. But, yeah, I think, like, we were doing so well without Orochimaru. Like, we were doing so well without Sasori and Deidara coming back. Nagato coming back. We didn't need them, because we were doing fine without them, but it's whatever. But I agree, he should have stayed dead. It was cool to see him back, but was it needed? No. Like I said, just because you're enjoying something doesn't mean it's good writing. Madara is overrated, Sakura is not that bad. Obito as a villain is underrated. Danzo is overrated, Kabuto is underrated. Talk no Jutsu is great. Talk no Jutsu was good between Gaara and Zabuza. And Nagato's more of a challenge. I don't think Nagato was Talk no Jutsu. I feel like it was more personal and deeper than that. But I'll make a video about that at some point. It's been taking me 2 years, but I'll get it at some point. Madara being overrated, yes. Madara in some aspects is overrated. I agree. Obito, people say Obito is a better villain because they relate to him more, and they feel like he was more of a better character because it was more human compared to Madara. I understand that. I like Madara over Obito, but I can't escape the fact that people relate to Obito more, and I think he's more of a loved character than Madara, so I agree. I like Part 1 Kabuto. I really like Part 1 Kabuto, but Sage Kabuto and Dragon Kabuto, like, it just didn't feel like Kabuto anymore. I don't like what they did with him in Shippuden. Part 1 Kabuto was underrated, yeah. He was a great fighter. He was very smart. He was raised by the medical corps of the mother, or whatever it was, raised by the medical mother chief, and Kabuto was a monster in Part 1. He was underrated, I agree. Danzo is underrated. Danzo's a piece of shit. I don't have much to say about Danzo. Everyone hates Danzo. He's just written to be hated. Sakura's not that bad. I've stand up with Sakura recently. I made a video recently with my friend Shazam. I've talked about Sakura many times. There's fair criticism with her, but there's still a lot of reasons to not hate her as much. I think Kakashi having new Sharingan abilities went too far. Cough, the perfect Susanoo. Obviously, Kishimoto knew what he was doing. It was the last minute of the war. Kishimoto was getting tired, and he wanted things to go faster, so he gave Kakashi a perfect Susanoo, and... like, Kishimoto's not an idiot. He knew what he was doing. He did it anyways, because he didn't care. I made a whole video about perfect Susanoo Kakashi. I'll leave it at the end of the video. But I personally feel like Kishimoto knew what he was doing. He didn't give a shit, and he gave it to him to make Kakashi useful. Even though it would have made more sense if Obito gave him his eyes, and then somehow unlocked it, instead of just coming back from the dead with his ashes and giving him the power. Like, that made no fucking sense. I don't know, Kakashi Perfect Susanoo seems like something they would have done in the Storm games. Like Itachi getting a Perfect Susanoo in the Storm games, but no, it's canon in the actual manga. I don't know. It's just whatever. He knew what he was doing, he didn't give a shit. I can't blame him. He got exhausted. He wanted to end Naruto. I've seen a lot of anime, but maybe more than 200 anime, more than me actually. And in my opinion, Naruto Shippuden is the best anime that has greatest potential to be the best anime. You're not wrong in some ways. It's just that potential not used, the character is very interesting, the world is very interesting, and Naruto Shippuden as a whole is only 20% potential instead of 100%. And hot take. And even so, for me, Naruto Shippuden is already better than One Piece, Dragon Ball, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, and many more. So Shippuden was more wasted potential than the original, and that's why I like the original more than Shippuden, because Naruto in the original knew what it was doing. After the Pain Saga, it's like Shippuden didn't know what it wanted to do anymore. It just felt like it was like, let's do this, let's do that, but let's also do this, but before that we're gonna do this. It's like the goal of Naruto and just what it was going for after the Pain Saga, it was really hard to comprehend what it was trying to be. And Naruto is still one of the greatest out there, definitely. It's just because of just how badly it went downhill. People disrespect it, and there's people out there who just don't understand the concept of what this story was about. You know, Naruto was not a One Piece. It was never a One Piece. It's about a character-driven story about all these characters that have their own story to tell about the ninja world, their viewpoint of how the world should work, what true sacrifice means, what it means to die for your loved ones, etc. So many deep messages, war, conflict, revenge, so many things that are just in there that are really great. You know, just really great powerful life lessons that can really wake you up. The cycle of hatred, speech by pain. But if you like Naruto Shippuden over My Hero Academia, Black Clover, and One Piece, and Dragon Ball, that's a hot take, because those fan bases, some of them, Dragon Ball and One Piece, they will get on to you for even saying that. Personally, I don't care. I've gotten so much more out of Naruto than compared to One Piece, and I haven't seen Dragon Ball in like 10 years, besides remembering it all in my head. But I'm glad you feel that way, because in the heart, Naruto's always going to be in there. Another long-ass message from this guy. If I'm being honest, I was never really fond of Danzo, antagonist, despite him ticking a lot of boxes for me. To me, I think he is a solid villain, but I still can't stand him for some reason. Maybe it's because I wanted to see more of his relationship with Sai, which is a fair opinion. Maybe it's because I wanted to see him trying to take the Hokage title by force, exploded for his actions, or maybe it is because he ended up becoming another tragic anti-hero by having another tragic backstory slapped into him at the last minute. But for some reason, I just don't like him. I know that nobody cares, but I actually created an alternate story that I think would have helped. It could have helped me to like both Sai and Danzo more. Okay, Danzo is written to be hated. There's not a lot of Danzo fans out there because people just don't like what he was doing. He's written to be hated, he's written to not be loved. People like him because he is underrated for what he was able to do, It's just there wasn't a lot of self-awareness of Danzo's actions besides Sasuke, Toby, and that's really it. Like, a lot of people weren't fully aware of him to really give a shit about him. You know, Pain blew up the village. People are gonna give a shit about that. The Nine Tails incident, what happened to the Hidden Leaf Village in Obito. No one knew who was behind it, but because of the damage of the Nine Tails and killing so many people, that scarred everybody for years. Danzo, he did so much shit behind the scenes that people weren't even fully aware, so they couldn't really do anything to really care what he was doing, because the awareness of his appearance wasn't always there or known to everybody. Only Sasuke and Tobi really knew of the shit he was doing, and he got paid for it. Everyone else, they were kept in the dark. Anyways, this has been episode number 3. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm Delix, subscribe if you want, and let me know what you think about this episode. Bye.